Let's meet our spotlight guest for today. She is Pakistan's first blind civil servant, and at the moment she is serving as counsellor at the permanent mission of Pakistan to the UN in New York, working on human rights and humanitarian issues. From studying for her master's in law in Geneva to representing Pakistan on numerous international stages, her passion for her work runs deep. And she's not allowed her visual impairments to hinder her success. Well, Saima Salim is here now, and we are going to start right at the beginning. Tell us about your upbringing and a bit about where it all started for you.
Well, I spent my early childhood in Rawalpindi. My father is a chartered accountant. He was working there. Then we moved to Lahore. Then I had my rest of education in Lahore till my MPhil and my CSS. And then I joined the service and I moved on.
Now, you've achieved such amazing things in the light of being handed what must have been a really difficult thing to navigate, and that is losing your sight. Do you mind talking about how that happened and how you've sort of coped with it?
Well, firstly, I have a genetic disease. It's called retinitis pigmentosa, in which wretched retinal degeneration takes place and you lose your sight gradually. So that was about it. I mean, after I developed it in early my childhood, and then in the teenage, I lost my sight. Uh, as far as coming to terms with it and how I cope with it, I think the most important part is a realization that you're going to lose something, and then relying on the rest of the senses, and then with the support of parents, and realizing that many things in our lives are not in our control. We have to adapt to circumstances and move on in life and do the best that we can. Unfortunately, many a times we focus on what we don't have rather than focusing on what we have. So I just focus at that time on the positive side of life, that I can do something even without sight. So with the support of family, friends, my school teachers, mentors. So the transition was smooth, if not easy. So I transited to a different way of living. And it was transformative. It gave me the idea that really I can do something in life better than what I had envisioned. So that's how it took place.
It's very honourable, and your positivity is something that I admire. Now, many young people will look up to you and the career that you've carved out for yourself. What would your message be to any young people wanting to change things for themselves, but are perhaps struggling with the confidence or hope that it's going to happen for them?
The best way to deal with any sort of challenge that one faces in life is to have a positive outlook and have faith in your own self and faith in Allah. Because when you think that you're unable to do certain things in life, you develop that despondency. It's natural. The first reaction that everyone has is this, that the situation is hopeless. But when you develop positive outlook towards life, when you develop attitude of gratitude, every day we have so many blessings that we don't count, then of course you become a little disappointed with things that are happening. I believe the younger generation needs to do three things. Perhaps have first faith in their own selves. Second, have an optimistic and positive outlook towards life. And third, be grateful for what they have. And then, of course, new avenues and new opportunities will open up for them.
That's some great advice. Who was your biggest inspiration that sort of made you into such a strong person?
I think I've read many inspiring stories. Many people inspired me. But the best inspiration for me was, and that's what my teacher talked about, and I read Helen Keller's autobiography, The Story of My Life. She really inspired me and gave me the sense, look, if someone who could not hear and speak and, see the world can do so much, why cannot I do that? So Helen Keller, I think, was my biggest inspiration, especially when I was going through this transition.
Now, was there a moment where you knew which career path you wanted to go down? Why was it that you chose to do the civil services exams rather than going into any other field? Was that because you knew that was your forte, that was where you were most capable, and it was where your passion was?
I mean, while I was studying, I decided to do not something which has been done before, something which is not conventional. In our country, mostly when people who have disability, they choose certain professions. For example, they go into, teaching, research, and they don't choose unconventional fields. In 2005, the government of Pakistan for the first time allowed persons with disability to appear in the CSS exam. Since I was a literature student and studied, British literature and European and others, and I was studying political science in college. So I mean, politics, international affairs, um, knowing the world always fascinated me. So I thought it could be a good opportunity to go in the Foreign Service of Pakistan and get the opportunity to know the world better, to understand the international politics. And at the same time, the idea of representing my country always fascinated me. So I think that fascination was the force behind the decision. Otherwise, I could have, of course, opted for some other profession.
Now, as a diplomat, you must have to sit at many different tables in many different rooms with peoples of all different backgrounds and levels of power. Do you ever become nervous or intimidated or sort of have to question how you're going to navigate certain situations?
If I tell you the truth, it's the other way around. Many a times, uh, at workplace, people get intimidated just because they don't expect someone with a disability to be vocal, to be confident, and to have her own ideas and represent in a very powerful way my personal perspective. So I mean, those things frankly don't intimidate me. Rather, they give me the opportunity to do better, and challenges have never, become an obstacle for me. I take them as an opportunity.
Now, spending a lot of time in different parts of the world, in Switzerland when you were studying, and in the US, in New York and Washington, when you look at your home country through an international lens, are there any areas that you think need particular attention or areas that you want to kind of help to reform?
Definitely, every system needs improvement. So is the case with our system. We need to improve, of course, the bureaucratic structure through merit, through introduction of professional expertise and area specific expertise that sometimes we lack. I think there is room for improvement, and we should try to improve so the civil service, because civil service is what defines the governance of a country and how it is run. So we need to definitely work on it and improve our governance structure.
It's not a role that I know that much about. So do you mind just sharing with me kind of what your day-to-day looks like and what are the responsibilities of a foreign diplomat working in the US? I'm really intrigued.
Well, I've been working at the United Nations here. The nature of job is slightly different than working in a bilateral mission where you have to deal with one country. Here, some of my responsibilities include, attending meetings, preparing statements, doing extensive negotiation with the rest of 193 countries on issues that I deal with, and also attending a lot of social gatherings like receptions and other engagements. So it's an exciting job.
This is something we spoke about a little bit earlier, but I'd just like to come back to it and find out, how you carry out your day-to-day work with your visual impairment. What are some of the things that you found tough but have clearly overcome?
Well, I prepare the drafts, and of course, it goes through the approval process. The ambassador approves it, and then in the preparation process, of course, a lot of research, understanding of the subject, and personal expertise of working on that particular subject are involved. And I must explain that I work the way others do. Similarly, on a laptop, I use a standard laptop just with a couple of softwares with a voice output. And it's the same way that the way others work. So there's no difference in that.
And when you're not working hard, what are your hobbies and what do you like to get up to in your free time? Do you even get much free time?
Well, some of my hobbies include I love reading. I like writing. I have written one book and working on another one, and I write poetry as well. So, uh, and listening to music sometimes.
And just lastly, do you have a message for any young people that might be watching, any sort of message of hope or encouragement or motivation for them?
My message to the youth of Pakistan is that they have immense potential. Trust in yourself, have faith in Allah, stay positive, and you will make great things happen and you'll do wonders in life.
Saima, thank you so much for sharing all of your thoughts and for that message to the youth of Pakistan.